Let's get started.
I moved to San Jose. It didn't work out. I didn't like my situation. So I told the person I had a spot. I didn't really have a spot. I stayed in my truck. And wherever the truck would stop, that's where I would sleep. And so it wasn't as difficult as most people think. Homeless, you know, I won't say I'm homeless, but without a home, it's not as difficult because you don't really have no worries. Like, I don't owe nobody, I don't owe no rent. You know, so it was the first time in my life that I had the opportunity to spend time with me. And when I was in my truck, I found out who I am.
Wow. So
when I come and I introduce myself to you, I'm not changing. I know who I am. It's not a question mark behind my name. When I said billionaire, do not ask me what my other name is. That is my name. It's more so explanation mark.
Ooh.
Period. Like, I'm not a person that's I know what my mission is. I know what my objective is. That was the purpose of being in the back of a truck. And I think a lot of people should take some valuable time and spend it with themselves so you can understand the definition of who you are.
Wow.
And that's what living in the truck did for me. And I went through my whole body. I didn't have money in my pocket, so I said, let's turn this into a negative situation. And I said, it's okay for your pockets to be broke. Just make sure your mind makes sense. I had a problem with, you know, multiple women and, you know, couldn't stay in a serious relationship. So I wrote a quote, I fell in love with success, so I guess that means I cheated on failure. So what I was doing was turning every negative aspect of my life into a positive. The way I ended up in the truck was I applied to 150 something companies. They rejected me.
Wow.
I had felonies that they told me were expunged off of my record, but every time, for some reason, they ran my social security number, they came up. Oh. So it's like, it just wasn't working out. And I found out, like, I was wondering, like, how does a person end up, like, I thought I shouldn't be, I'm not the person that's supposed to be holding the cup. Like, you know how you have these thoughts of where you should be in your life, and this can't happen to me. Right. It's like, no, it really can't happen to you. And it happened to me. So, you know, I didn't have no family I don't come from a family that just has money to give and say, oh, baby, come on home, we'll send you $500, $400. It's like, no, it was time to be a man. And so it was time not to depend on mama, not to depend. I'm a 20-something, I done graduated college and everything. When you graduate college, stop calling your mama. Stop calling your daddy. You got a degree, man. And people need to become men, and they need to become grown women. And you need to I had to take ownership for the stuff that I did in the past. I had to take ownership for being late. I had to take ownership for not being a good person, and stop putting your problems on other people. And people just conversate. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Don't nobody care but you.
Wow. Very true. You know, and to touch on that a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
Go in a little different direction. But while you're up north, you had the opportunity to meet someone who a lot of people are always looking for. A mentor.
That I did.
How did that come about?
Changed my whole life.
Isn't that powerful? Mentors change lives.
Changed my whole life.
So what happened?
His name is Maurice Moore. He was a real estate investor. And I hardly ever even say his name because I don't like putting people on blast. He don't even know he changed my life. He spoke golden nuggets. The reason why I do what I do to this day is because of two people in San Jose. Maurice Moore and the lady that took me out of my truck, Myra Scott. She put me on her couch, didn't even know how much she was helping me, and she didn't even know me within 24 hours and helped me, let me stay with her, you know, gave me, you know, money to eat and stuff like that. And she helped me on the personal side, and Maurice helped me on the business side.
Wow.
You know, and so I was able to, you know, she was teaching me my who I was as a person, and that, you know, I care for you and I don't expect anything from you, where when you come from a drug background, nobody cares about you, and everybody wants something from you.
Yeah, or kill you.
Exactly. And so everybody want to ride on your 24s or your 28s. You know, that's the reality. No woman, you know, in my mind really likes you for you. They like what you can do for them. And so this was the first woman that I believe that helped me, and there was no personal relationship. You know, it just was genuinely love and genuinely help. And then I met the real estate investor, and it's the first time I ever met a dude that made a lot of money that didn't do anything illegal.
Wow. That
I knew of. And so,
what did he teach you?
Oh man, he taught me the due diligence of hold on, forget the due diligence part first. He taught me execution first. I'm sorry.
Something so many people lack.
Hey, he taught me to execute, man. He told me, shut up.
Wow.
Talking about your mama sick. Stop talking about your children, man, and just get your butt up and work. If you love your kids that much to talk about them, then show it in action. Stop talking about the dream. And that's why I said, you know what? When your work speaks for itself, you never have to open your mouth.
Ooh.
Take that quote and just run with it, man. Like, stop sharing nobody don't care that some people will hate me for telling them the truth, but yes, nobody cares that your mama's sick. Nobody cared that your mama died. My mama had screws in her leg, like that stuff I be saying, like that was a true story for me. And she couldn't walk, and doctor said she couldn't walk again. And I saw a woman willed herself to walking because of the power of her brain. Everyone said, sit down. And that woman was like, no, I have kids to take care of. I got to help my family. And that woman walks to this day, and nobody will ever, if I showed you 2 different pictures of my mom, I ask her, I say, can I tell the story or show the pictures? And she just looks at me and like, no. And I'm just like, I really think that people would be more inspired off the people who inspired me to inspire other people than me. I think Myra Scott would inspire more people. I think the real estate investor would inspire, because my motivation came when the real estate investor said to me, he's like, homie, you got drive, but it's just applied to the wrong stuff. Yeah. If you ever pick your drive up and put it on something positive, he told me I would destruct the world.
You know, it's awesome that you say that, because I just came back from an event this past weekend, and you had a panel, it was a Legends panel, of about 6 individuals that have now earned over $200 million in earnings through their businesses. Yeah, right? But more importantly, it was 163 years of experience on the stage. And one thing that this gentleman by the name of George Zelicki said is that what you're seeing is not George Zelicki. What you're seeing is the countless of mentors that have come into my life that have blessed me with their knowledge, their wisdom, and now they are speaking through me to you. And so for each and every one of you out there today, that this is one of those moments where I hope, or I pray that you are getting those golden nuggets that you can apply into your life, but yet you need to tell your story. Everyone has a story to tell, from Myra Scott to Mr. Morris, right? That's his last name. And it doesn't matter what you're going through today. Either you could make excuses, or you can make money and live out your passion. It's that simple. And surround yourself with dope people. Like, Billionaire PA is a dope person. Like, the thing is, you don't have to be here presently in the physical form of it, but you can start picking up the books, you can start watching the videos, you can start, just being inspired by, Facebook or Instagram, whatever the case may be, that's gonna give you that jolt in the day to be like, you know what, I'm gonna beast no matter what. I'm gonna execute no matter what. I'm gonna turn my dreams into possibilities every single day. Why? Not only for myself, but for my family, for my friends, for society, and to be able to speak truth to other people that it can be done, because I was going through the same trials and tribulations that you were going through, but I just put one foot in front of the other to be able to turn that dream into a reality. So, we pack up our bags from San Jose, up north, and make a decision to move to LA.
Well,
why?
What happened was I was applying for this network.
Okay.
In the true story, I never really go in details about the company. Nothing against the company, I just would like the company to sponsor me. So I'm just putting that in the universe. BET, I need y'all to sponsor me. Y'all doing a great job. I appreciate y'all for giving me an opportunity.
You might have seen him on 106 in Park. Probably the only inspirational video that's been on there in the last 5 years.
Yeah, so.
Just joking.
Nah, I appreciate y'all. But man, I was applying for the network, trying to get a job, just trying to get a job. I was like, if anybody will help me, my people will help me. That's what I thought, because I couldn't get no job. I was like, maybe, the black people would give me an opportunity. Yeah. Since I done failed, and a lot of them that's on the TV, they failed too, and they got a second chance. So Myra gave me $5. I applied Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, sent them a follow-up letter. Did that for a couple months. They ended up calling me. I went to every business owner that I knew in San Jose, and they told me, I said, hey, if I was gonna work for your company, what would you ask? What would be the first question you ask? And out of 10 people, all 10 people said, why do you want to work here? So I wrote that question, wrote my answer. Next question, wrote that question, wrote my answer. And I got about 20. I had about 20 questions, and I had studied them like I was studying for an SAT test. I was waiting on that. I was waiting on my phone call interview from BET, and I was on the phone when they called, and when they asked me the first question, I was like, I got it, baby. They asked, why do you want to work at BET?
That's smart move.
And I was sitting there like, yeah, this is no problem. And then the hardest step was to try to read the answer, but act like I was coming off the top, and I jacked it all up.
So what happened?
Oh man, I was trying to act like I wasn't reading, but I was reading. And I wanted to feel like it came from the heart.
Natural, right?
And it wasn't. I was like, dang, you know, you just get nervous. I got nervous. And the lady asked me, she said, excuse me, in the middle of the sentence, are you reading? And I was like, dang. And I had a moment to think about whether I wanted to tell a lie or to tell the truth. And where I was at in my life of living in the truck, I was just like, you know, I'd rather lose to telling the truth than to keep something with a lie.
Wow.
So I decided, I just said, you know what? I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. Before, when you told me you was gonna call me, I went out and I asked about 10 to 20 business owners. I asked them a lot of questions, and I asked them, what questions do you think this company would ask me? And then I wrote the questions, and I just wrote my answer. So really all I'm doing is reading my answer. But I don't need to be reading. And the lady said, stop right there. Don't ask him no more questions. That's the type of person should be working here.
Wow.
Then they didn't ask me no more questions. It went from an interview to a personal conversation. Wow. You know, that like I thought on something I thought was about to go all the way south. Yeah. It went all the way good. And I was happy. I was like, they was like, can you be down here on Monday to work? I was like, yeah, baby, I'll be there. Like I wasn't thinking about no place to stay or nothing. It was Friday when we did the interview. And so I hung up real fast. I was calling, hey man, I got a job. Man, I was so happy. I don't even know if they said anything about pay. Wow. I was just like, dang, I'm a background. I was like, I'm good, man. I'm finna. All I needed was to prove myself. Right. Because I'm a hard worker, man. I just needed somebody to say, hey, man, put him on the job, give him a chance. And what happened after that? Oh, I called them back. I was talking to Mara. She was like, when do you start? And I said, man, they said Monday. And then I was like, oh man, that's Saturday, Sunday. That's in 2 days. So I was like, I'm gonna have to call them back and tell them I might can't do that because I don't know nobody in LA. And it's like I'm not really trying to go back to being in the same situation. And before I called them back, I had the most serious conversation with Myra, and she basically said, if you're gonna be homeless with the drive that you have, you'd have a better chance at making it in LA. That's why I moved to LA. When she told me that, she was like, "You made it in Oakland, man. Yeah, you could. It's more people that would be open to helping a person like you in LA." So I was like, "Man, that's true." And so yeah.
So did you get down there on Monday?
Man, I was down there first thing. Ask them, suited and booted, cleaner than the president. Ask anybody up there. It's like no lie. Like everything. If they ask for 1 cup of water, I brought hot and cold. Whatever they need. It wasn't about money to me. It was about relationships, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, I never will worship money until they put my face on the dollar. So that's why that dollar doesn't represent what I represent. You know, I stand for power in relationships. You know, I wrote a quote that said, money is a promissory note that acquires debt. Knowledge is a promissory note that acquires power. That means if I give you $1, you technically to the government owe 50 cents. But we don't owe nothing based off our relationships. You know, a lot of people talk about return on investment. What about return on your relationships? There goes some knowledge for you. The people that you spend your time with, what's the return on the relationship? Yes. And so if we not getting nothing out of it, I don't want to hang with you. And so I went to BET. I built great relationships with Mr. Reginald Hudlin, Stephen Hill, a lot of the people that hired me from. Man, I worked for everybody at that company.
How long were you there for?
Man, I was there for a couple of years. Probably about 2, 3, 4 years.
So what transpired from BET to where you're at today?
Man, I was sitting in the cube and I said, something hit me one day. And I said, I don't want to work for people no more. That's just the true answer. I'm sitting at my desk and I just said, I have a problem taking, like, anybody that know me know I work hard, but when I see something can be done better, sometimes instead of trying to tell people how they should do it better, sometimes you just have to create your own company and do it the way you know it should be done. Right. So, you know, sometimes like I give you an example. Let's say you got the Get in Gear program, and there's a company that does something similar. Right. But they've been in business 100 years. Right. So you got 100 years of history that don't want to change nothing.
Right.
So I think that it's easier for me and you as a younger generation just go get our own company and let's do this our way,
right.
And we can still let them do what they do, and we are in no competition with. And I just said, you know, I think I'm the one thing that I want in business is not money, it's time and freedom.
That's what everybody wants.
That's all I want. That's all, and I can't get that on somebody's job. So I said, man, I created a t-shirt line. First shirt was Damn a Recession, I'm in a Succession.
So this is like 2008, 2009?
Something like that. I didn't even remember. I was just like, hey, I can't even tell you the exact year. I was just like, this how it was for me when I was at that office. I'm not going back to that truck.
Wow. Any
means necessary. We finna get this money. That's my first instinct. I beat it in you. Like anybody, I'll sell you a shirt right now.
You will.
Right now. And you ain't even with me. That's how serious you gotta be about your dream though, man. It's like I get pumped up and amped up for my dream. It's the first time, like you wanna be honest, as an African American man, that I created something that I could take to my mama and my daddy and my grandmama and say, look what your baby boy did. And they can smile and say, good job, baby. You know, now we don't have to come pick you up. You know how many kids, man, that out here in these streets are lost. They don't have no hope, no inspiration. And then when young people like us come around, people try to find what you do wrong or what, oh, he's not a great speaker or he's not this. So what? He's helping people.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Ooh.
Like we always want to, I don't like the way he did this. I don't like the way he said this. Well, get your butt up and do something. That's my whole thing. It's like if somebody's out there helping your kid, he's helping them. What tone do you got to speak in to help somebody? No matter if you're monotone, high pitch, you're a preacher, whatever. If your heart, I work with people whose hearts are to help other people. Not the people who say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to change the world. People that say, like I listen to people say, oh, I'm real and I'm going to change the world. People who change the world don't even tell you they doing that. They just do it. Explanation mark.
Period.
Awesome.